Blog Talk Radio.
Archangels, ghosts, and Bigfoot, oh my. It's just another night for Supernatural Girls. Real stories, real answers to life's biggest supernatural mysteries. And now for another exciting interview with paranormal experts from this world and others. Here's your host, paranormal researcher Patricia Baker, on the one, the only, Supernatural Girls.
Welcome, everyone, to another exciting episode of Supernatural Girls Radio. And Happy New Year, everybody. We are back, and I'm here with PK. PK, how you doing tonight?
Absolutely fabulous, and I can't wait to wish all of our audience a Happy New Year as well. I know we're going to have a great year coming. My story
think so? Well, that's
it.
Well, I'm glad you're sticking with it, and this is what we wanted to talk about tonight, along with other things. So we've got a lot to cover. Now, so everybody knows we have gone to an hour format. So we are meeting 7:30 to 8:30, and we have some guests that we're going to be meeting a little bit earlier for to accommodate their schedule. And in fact, one of them, I mentioned to you just before we went live, is Bishop Long, who does exorcisms and all kinds of things to help people get free of extraneous demons that are bothering them. We're going to hear all about that from Bishop Long in a couple of weeks. We've got a new medical intuitive. She's new to us, but she's been around for many years. She's from your neck of the woods, Arizona, and she's going to be joining us to talk about how she does what she does, and apparently she is one of the best in the world. So we're going to hear from her, and we have Mr. Disclosure. He is going to be talking more about cryptid facilities across the United States, the types of cryptids that are there. He's the one that changes his voice, so we can't tell who he really is. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to ask, if you guys are thinking of any particular question you want answered about cryptids and where they're housed in the U.S. and why they're housed in the U.S., what's going on there, send us your questions, because we're getting a list together to send over to him to Covert Disclosure, and he's going to be answering all of this live on the air. So we've got some very exciting new guests coming in, and we're so happy to share new information with everybody. With everybody. You need it. You need all the information you can get in this crazy world today. And tonight, we're going to be talking about what's coming up for this entire year by the numbers. Mm-hmm. We are also going to be taking a look at that very tragic crime that took place in Idaho, where unfortunately 4 co-eds were murdered. And we are going to take a look at that. PK has been doing a lot of research on this with numerology, to take a look at things from another perspective, and we feel that's sometimes very helpful. This has really captured the imagination and minds of so many people in the United States, and there has been a lot of attention on this, a lot of amateur crime people looking into it, and as I mentioned before, they've come up with some very interesting theories before this particular person who allegedly committed the crime was arrested. And, PK, I think it's kind of a good thing, because there's a lot of eyes on this. People are watching it. And I think it helps, don't you?
Oh, most definitely. And it's very important that if anybody out there has seen anything in the past in that area, don't hesitate to call the authorities. Many times people think, I don't want to get involved. But if you know anything or are aware of anything, don't hesitate. Make that phone call. I think it's going to be important.
Right. Help the police and the FBI do their job.
Mm-hmm. Well, from what we've picked up so far with the situation, it smells to high heaven, because this just doesn't seem possible to be something that just happened. But before we get into that, let's talk about what we've got coming for us first in a positive way.
And let me also
year.
mention a couple of other things while we're getting ready to launch into this new year with predictions. I wanted everybody to know, if you want your own private numerology reading, contact PK directly. You can find her email on the Supernatural Girls website. You can also just go to her website, patriciakirkman.com, and reach out to PK. She is back in the saddle. She's doing readings again for everybody. So if you'd like to take a more in-depth look at your life in 2023, then get a hold of PK that way. Now, if you want any kind of life coaching or any kind of dream analysis work, you can contact me. And I am also on the Supernatural Girls page at pbaker@bigpictureagency.com. So you can reach out to me. Be happy to work with you throughout the year or even as a short-term experience to get your life on track, get your dreams in order so you can understand what they're trying to tell you. Very important that you listen to your dreams. Really make sure you know the language. It helps so much. And on our webpage, our homepage, Supernatural Girls homepage, we have also a lot of health products that we use and we can happily recommend, and they're offering discounts when you buy these things on our webpage, from our webpage, because we don't sell them. We're just advertising for them. You can go to the webpage and click on them, and you will get a discount. So if you have any questions on any of those products, then you can always email me. I'll be happy to answer your questions. These are products that I use myself, so I have a lot of experience with them. And there's also some interesting products for wellness centers and spas and caves. So take a look at all of that, and I can direct you to the people who handle this for their companies, and you can go from there. But all very leading-edge stuff right on our homepage. So take a look there when you get a chance. Okay, so
it's all great information.
We're ready to launch
it. That's for sure. Well, I'll tell you, this year we're starting out with 3 major retrogrades. We have Mercury, Mars, and Uranus in retrograde. But the nice part is they go direct before the month is over. So that part's good. The part that has everybody tearing their hair is when Mercury goes retrograde. Anything to do with and about communications tends to get screwed up. So if you're under contract for something, to purchase something, or you're looking for information, know that you can't really trust what you think you see, because Mercury kind of plays tricks on us. Anything to do with communication can and will get discombobulated. As we're going through it, we're just positive, but it doesn't work that way. So the main thing is they are all going direct before the month is over. But with Mercury, be very careful. Don't sign anything without getting good advice. Be very cautious of that. Anything, like I said, to do with communication. Don't purchase anything unless you have no alternative, because it tends to be whatever you've purchased doesn't last as long, or something goes wrong with it. And it's just a combination of making you want to feel like you want to pull your hair out. But rather than do that, just hold off till the month is over, and then you're in good shape to go forward. So
now let me ask you about this
before the month is over.
Well, thank God. But let me ask you, let's say you can't get around signing a contract. Let's say you've got to sign it. There's a deadline with it. Is there anything you can do other than just getting good advice? I know somebody once mentioned doing little offerings to Mercury, to the god Mercury. That can offset it. I know one of our guests talked about that at one point. I don't know what those offerings would be, but that was something that was suggested. Is there anything else that would help offset it when you absolutely have to put your signature on a contract in a Mercury retrograde time period?
When you have to do that, give yourself a bit of an out if you can. Allow them that if you have to sign it, you have no alternative, or you'll lose this, that, or whatever. Then you're going to have to set it up so that it can have a little shall we say, a little leeway to redo or review something if you can possibly do that. Or you can do a tentative signing with the major to take place as soon as the retrograde ends. You don't give a guarantee, yes, I'm going to sign it, but, and then you can possibly work it around that. But I find that I keep thinking that there's going to be better ways of working with Mercury retrograde. And there's times when don't purchase something because it's not going to last. And boy, I know that one to the nth degree. I wanted a pair of shoes that I had been looking for 3 years, and I called them non-color shoes, nude shoes. So it would look as short as I am, then maybe look taller. I wanted those shoes so bad, found them in the retrograde, and I thought, oh, that's the ending of old things. I bought them knowing that I shouldn't have. The first time I wore them, I scuffed the toe on a curb, and it took the leather right back. I got it fixed, but it was never the same. The second time I wore them, I caught my heel in a grate in the other shoe, and the heel leather went right up the heel. So I said, okay, God, I got it. When it says don't do, it really means don't do.
Right. So that's a good time to just save some money rather than spend.
Oh, yes, by all means. But when you wait like that, you'll end up doing better because of it. You truly will. Doesn't seem like it, but there's all kinds of good things out there for us to take a look at. Now, one of the things, knowing that it's going to go direct, that's perfect, but deal with the personal year we're in, or I should say the universal year we're in. The year deals with all types of introspection. It's time when we're going to want to search for the truths of things. We're going to be looking for, are we being lied to? Is that really the truth? Are there surfaces that we can scratch to get a little bit more information? But the 7-year deals with secrets, and it's a combination of not knowing who or what to trust. Do we want to gamble on it? We could, but we're going to have to really pay attention throughout the year. Those that are in a 1-year stand a better chance because they're more in control. Someone in a 7-year has to be extremely cautious of what's going on because the 7 deals with secrets, and it really demands truth coming from so many different directions. We really have to be careful of who we trust, what we trust, and how we go about it. And that's also true of any medications that we might be taking at this point in time. Double check that it really is for you. Mm-hmm.
And it's what they say it is. I mean, that's a really important point that you brought up. You know, we're watching all of these sudden deaths. There's a lot of them. I mean, I just heard about 2 NBC broadcasters that died, one in their sleep. I mean, one was 28 years old. I mean, again, there's so much going on that is, I think we know what's causing it, but in the mainstream media, they're acting surprised. They're acting like, oh, this is so strange. But these death rates have gone sky high. And again, we know why. We've done the research. We've talked with a number of people who have done movies about it, like Died Suddenly, and are researchers in the field that are providing data that is backing up that it's related to something that was mandated fairly recently. So it's something that you have to do your research on, and I'm glad you mentioned it. I don't tell anybody what to do. If they want to do something for themselves medically, it's up to them. However, there is, like you said, there's been a lot of secrecy. There is a lot of secrecy, and you have to do your research and figure it out, and not just go by what you're being fed, because it's not, like you said, it's not necessarily the truth. They may be hiding something behind their back that you're not willing to face. Well, if you're not willing to face it one way, you may have to face it another way.
Very true. And taking a look at things, when we're taking a look at the health issues, this period of time, this 70, we're in an earth sign. And it tells us get organized. That means really pay attention to what you're being told, what you see, what you feel, because it's like sleight of hand going on. And with the 7 around, deceit and deception is very much an issue. You'll find that you may have more issues dealing with learning, teaching, and your spiritual side, which is great. but you also may have more issues dealing with legal or legalities of all forms. Whatever you're given paper-wise, read every bit of it. Pay attention to what you're being told. Make notes. Don't be surprised afterwards, oh, gee, I didn't hear them say that part. Because
right.
The 7 deals with secrets. You're going to find many of us are going to have difficulty sleeping. There'll be a lot of dreaming going on throughout this year. And it's the spiritual side is really up and coming more than we've thought of for a long time. Take advantage of it and really take a good look at what you feel. Don't trust just because somebody says it's black or white. Find out for yourself. You're going to have a lot of opportunities, and impatience will get you in trouble. So be very cognizant of what you're being told, how you're going about it, but what you hear and how you feel. Trust that inner voice of yours. We all have it. We always get that gut feel, and we talk ourselves out of it many times. Not this year. Go along with it. Trust it. It's going to make it more important than ever. Also, in the 7 year, we have a tendency to do tripping, falling, this type of thing. I don't think I'd take up skydiving this year, but I would pay close attention walking up and down stairs, Kind of crazy, but it's important. But
yeah, so you could be
clumsier
than normal, right? You could have more stupid accidents. Okay.
Definitely. And it's a good year to get rest. Spend time by and or around water. Soak in a hot tub. Use some nice lavender or something in the tub to make you feel good. Because once we relax, we're able to think more clearly. We're able to feel what's going on. And it's a great time to take any type of looking into information that you want. Any type of learning is excellent this year. But the best time for spending time around water, whether it be a pool of water or a dripping faucet, I'll tell you, the water will be very, very helpful for you.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
that's very nice.
To step back and observe what's going on around you. You'll be surprised how much information you will acquire just watching, being patient. In your dreams, I would recommend putting a pad of paper by your bed because we're all going to dream more. Those that are in a 7 year, 10 times more than we that aren't. But nonetheless, we get information. Trust that gut feel that you get. That's the best way to spend looking at this year.
That's a great advice. I mean, that's something we tell people on this show to do all the time. But this year especially, you're saying it's important.
Oh, definitely.
So that's good.
Yeah, you have to
that's
demand truth
for people to know.
And don't allow your thought to cover it all. Get information. Deal with what you know for sure. And it isn't always easy to get the answers that you're looking for, but don't just assume because it's someone that you've always trusted before. Take a look into it a little more deeply. After all, there's a lot of major growth that's going to go on this year, and you're going to find that it's going to give you opportunities to really enhance possibly what you're going to be doing next year. Because the 7 deals with our spiritual side, but the teaching and learning, and I think we'll get a lot of answers through prayer.
Okay. Well, that sounds like a good addition.
Which
is
yes,
what?
I think it'll be very helpful for all of us. If you question anything, there's nothing wrong with taking that little bit of time to sit by a little pool of water or soak in a tub and go through the things in your mind and go over them. You might step down or step out and go, oh, that's my answer, or that's a better way to go. No shortcuts this year, kiddos. No shortcuts at all.
And now we were looking into other people's predictions, astrological ones, and one of the things that they've talked about is Pluto changing signs and going into Aquarius. So it kind of underscores what you're talking about because Pluto transforms things very, very deeply and profoundly. It's life and death with Pluto. So with that in mind, too, it becomes even more important to really listen to your intuition. And what they were talking about, too, was going inward, just what you're talking about, listening to yourself, but really developing whatever you can on the inside. So people who say they want to stop the wars and all of that, you got to stop the war inside first and then worry about other things. But it's all internal. I mean, we know everything's energy, so what energy are you feeding? And this Pluto energy, it sounds like it's going to be intense. So this is over the next, 2 years with Pluto changing signs? I guess it's going to go into Aquarius, come out of Aquarius several times. Yeah.
And for this year with the fear factor, because when the 7's around, I think with Princess and the Pea, remember I didn't sleep well last night. I slept on this hard rock. It was nothing more than a pea. Well, that's what the imagination's going to take over for a lot of things. But those that pay attention to the details are going to get the information they truly need. Don't just assume if it looks like something. Double check, because you're going to get things that are going to be amazing. It maybe have something to do with finances that you may decide that you're going to start to study how to do it better, because next year will have more to do with that. But this year, teaching, learning in our spiritual side, and secrets being made known, which just happened with our young man that was just arrested. Didn't that just pop out?
That was incredible. Brian, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and look at Elon Musk. I mean, look at what he's bringing out now that he's taken over Twitter, and the fact that our government has been involved in basically limiting free speech as much as possible, censoring people when they don't like that they're not following the government's narrative. I mean, what kind of country are we living in now? So Elon Musk is the one who brought this all out and said, now, you can't tell these conspiracy theorists it's conspiracy. It's fact. This is what our government has been doing and been paying money into the coffers of these companies so that they can run them. So, yeah, you're right. Here's a secret being made known. And Elon Musk says this is just the beginning of what is going to be coming out.
Oh, it is. It's going to be amazing to find out all the things that are behind closed doors that are going to be made known now. Way over here. Yes. I think that it's time that we were fed truth instead of this garbage that they've been laying on us this last year. Absolutely disgusting. Yes. And even, I'm not going to get into the political element of things because we all know what that is. I'd rather deal with what's going on today with the things we have to deal with. Anyway, so it's sad that we're at this point in time. Everyone's having to pay more attention. Medications that are out and about. Children that are being given, I shouldn't say given, are finding these different medications to grab a hold of. And, well, actually, they're drugs. You know that. So I hate to call medications because they're really not. But so much of that is ongoing right now that people don't know who or what to trust. And in our area here, we've got so much coming across the border almost daily. And the sad part about this is all that could have been avoided. So much of it could have been avoided. But we're going to have to live with it for a long time. And those that are losing family members and friends with this will live with it forever. That's the sad part about it.
Yes, it's terrible what they've done to try to break down the country as quickly as they could. But as I mentioned, I also looked at some of the prophecies and predictions coming in from our buddy William Stick Evers, a very famous astrologer, and he said that it's going to be a very, very interesting time with all of this battering, is what he called it. He said interconnected economic, political, and social disruptions threaten to batter governments, markets, and institutions around the world for the next several years, fracturing the global reset plans for the remaining decade. Well, that's the only good part, is it's going to change that out because the global reset is something that we're not standing with. So, but all of this, coming up against the governments and people are tired of being slaves.
Oh, definitely. And we're, like I said, we're in a 7 year now. And it's all about learning, teaching, and going into it. We've got the 8 and 9 year coming up. So these next 3 years are critical to what we're going to be doing and how we're going to get out of some of these things. It's going to give us opportunity. But the growth factor is just going downhill instead of uphill because, look, groceries, but the price, anything you try to buy today, and what's available is just incredible. Who would have ever thought eggs would go higher, almost double their cost? Eggs. So
right.
Did the chickens get the extra money? I don't think so.
Well, the feed's gone so high. That's the problem because around here we have all these small farms and we support the local farms and purchase from them. And we have somebody here that we purchase eggs from. And she was telling me how much the feed has gone up. It's crazy. And so that's why the eggs are more money. And it's unbelievable. I mean, we offered to pay more money because we want to keep supporting people locally for these eggs. But yeah, you go to the store, they're $7-8 for 12.
Oh yeah,
1 dozen.
And bake at home, it'll make it cheaper. That just went up sky high too. There is nothing that's going to be easier when you take a look at. They've shrunk the cans and boxes that product is put in to make it look like they're the same size, the same box, and you bring it home and put it next to something you've had in the pantry before, and you, wait a minute, you've dropped down about 2 inches and you're about 4 inches smaller. But
exactly.
we get to charge and pay more, twice as much for
it. Same or more.
Least.
Yes, that's so true. Yeah, it's very frustrating. I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know how families are doing it today. I really don't. It's so much money just for simple groceries, gas, etc. The only thing that's going down are homes. So real estate prices are starting to come down now. And they said in June it's really going to be down. So I looked at some of the financial people and what they had to say about home sales, and that was also very interesting. Now, keep in mind, everybody, your property taxes are going up, but your home value is going down.
True.
So you got to figure that out, and that's why I always recommend that book, Are You Getting Screwed on Your Property Taxes? How to Find Out and How to Fix It by Patricia Quintillion. She's an attorney. Please get that book. You need to know what to do. I just got an email from a friend of ours. His property taxes have gone up by 35% in 1 year. Now, most people don't know how to fight this. Most people just, take it on the chin and go, okay, I'll just go along with it. Well, if you go along, guess what's going to happen next year and the year after? So my advice is, please, get that book, know what you're up against, find out what the laws are and what you need to do. You may even want to change the laws in your state. I know in Georgia they revamped all their property tax laws and made it much better for every property owner. But in most states, you're still getting screwed. So you got to find out if you are or you're not. That's your job. Nobody's going to tell you, from the town perspective that you're getting screwed and you're getting charged for things you shouldn't be. It's up to you to find that out. And this is the only way to do it. Just because your property taxes are rolled into your mortgage doesn't mean that it's not going up. You may just think your mortgage is going up. Chances are good it's your property taxes going up.
But if you take a look at the mortgage prices now, housing is coming down, but interest rates are going up.
Right.
So where you save, you're losing. It doesn't matter.
Right.
It's being caught in the revolving door. They're not going to let you out. You're going to have to stay in there until they decide that you've had enough and you can't take anymore. Then they'll let you out.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And you're really under their thumb. Yeah. So, again, it's really like what you're saying. Find out the secrets. There's a lot of secrets in the property tax world. A lot of people don't understand it. And you've been in real estate, so you understand this, but a lot of people don't. And they have no idea what kind of risk they're facing. So please, everybody, this is the month. You usually have 30 days in January to file an abatement, and that's it. So this is a time frame that never really changes, and you got to meet the deadline. The assessors don't. So you have to really Really look into this. Please do. I hate to hear the horror stories that I hear when people finally figure it out, but don't wait. So this month is your month to get that under control.
Yeah, I think it's a good time for everybody to really take a good look at their expenses, period. Because certain things have been going up. They make it look like it's not as bad as it is by how they're offering you a little bit here as they're grabbing something else off to the side.
Right.
Costs of everything are just ridiculous. And that's it. But the price of gas has gone down. Really?
A little bit.
And you take a look. Yeah, But then they hike something else up to compensate. Yeah.
Right.
But it's the way it is, unfortunately.
Right. And it is what you just said. It's about uncovering secrets. Where are you going to make a difference in your own life? And the only way you can do that is by finding out the truth.
And saying it out loud. Don't stuff it. Let it be known when you find out something is wrong. Face it and go forward with it, because so many times people will just, I don't want to say anything. I don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. But look at the cost of what it's taking on everybody. The majority of people are having a hard time making it through on a month-to-month basis.
Right.
It's
true. It's very sad. Yeah, it's horrible. And I think it's going to get worse. I know some of the other prophecies that you and I looked into are predicting famine.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not talking about famine in third world countries. We're talking about famine here in the United States.
That's right.
Supply chain breaking down and things like that. So, yeah. What were you going to say?
So much of our land in the Midwest, the farmlands and such, they've all been purchased by Chinese companies. And I kind of thought that was a little strange. They're taking over.
Strange.
They're making large conglomerates out of it, but it's not helping us. It will help other people. So I guess we're all going to have to learn how to work together and learn how to be more friendly and user-friendly in what we do. But I don't know if that's going to happen right away, because the 7 year is going to deal with some sleight of hand as well, so that's the scary part.
Right. And a lot of people don't know how to look for that. They don't want to believe it. They want to just keep going along. They're told what to do. They do it. And unfortunately, for a lot of people, it has become deadly. So, again, look at all the research, all the information you can, gather it up, and open your eyes to what is happening around you and who's pulling the strings. It's very important to do. Very important.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
So 7 is our year this year. The whole year is a 7 year, right?
Everyone deals with the 7, regardless of what their personal information is. We all deal with the 7 year regardless. That is universal throughout the world. Everyone has to deal with that 7. And our personal information goes along with it. It's either enhanced by it, or it can very well be a kick of the backside to us. All depends on how our name is put together. Do we have 7s in our chart, or don't we? What do we have to learn? And this 7 is always a teacher. It's a lesson we're going to learn whether we like it or not. That's kind of one of the things that I'd like to say, that's why I said relax when you can. Take the opportunity to think and plan and really use that time to go within. The spiritual side is really our safety net.
Well, that's what we need. And so I guess that's what's being asked of us, is to develop that spiritual muscle a little bit more this year, or a lot more this year.
Most definitely. And don't believe everything you're told. There's nothing wrong with checking it out for yourself. We all have opportunity to look into things. Every one of us, our personal years go 1 through 9 every year. What you were last year, you will be up 1 notch this year. So the universal year this year for everyone besides their personal deals with the 7, which deals with our spiritual side, dealing with our religious side element, our learning and teaching. But there's that inner voice that gives us a hint of what's coming down. Take advantage of it. If you get that gut feel about something, God help us all, please trust it. We're not going to be given bad information deliberately, but if we just assume and run with it, we could make some really bad mistakes.
Right. Yeah.
We're taking a look at what's going on in the world right now. We've got this situation that took place in Idaho. That's a big
very
shock
tragic.
in itself that everyone goes,
yes, it was shocking and still is shocking and so tragic. I know we feel so badly for the families involved in this. This is a terrible loss for them, a terrible loss for their friends and extended family members. Just so unexpected, so horrible. So you took a look at the numbers on some of these things. I know there's been a lot of people, like we just talked about at the beginning of the show, looking at this, watching this, trying to help law enforcement. Some people ended up not really helping, but they were still watching this closely. So what did you find?
Well, the person that has just been arrested, he is a real major problem. So intelligent, but so insecure, and so many problems that go with him. He himself right now, when you take a look at what's going on around him, he's at his 6th year, and he demands freedom of action of what he does. He really thinks that he's got all the answers. He's very arrogant in how he proceeds with things because he is extremely intelligent. I mean, extremely intelligent. And he has opportunity to do many things in his lifetime. But you're dealing with a man that is extremely insecure. He has no self-esteem of a higher aspect of things because he's overly sensitive. When a person is as overly sensitive as his chart shows, it makes him very insensitive to other people. He feels he's got all the answers and he is in charge. He has a very difficult time letting go. He's very impatient, has demands for freedom of action for himself, and he doesn't allow anyone to get close to him. I don't think he knows how to get close to anybody, but he's smart enough that people see him in a different light. Very impatient, very selfish, but that impatience and shortcomings that he has, that's what gets others in trouble with him because he sees himself as an overachiever, which he is mentally, but he's dysfunction when it comes to how he handles things. He has his self-esteem is extremely low. So he does all these other things to make him feel better or to look better, and he isn't. He's a danger. But the worst part about it is he is super intelligent, which makes it even more of a danger because he knows what to do because of what he's been studying. His sleight of hand is very much an issue.
Yeah, it's again, everybody, we're not saying that he has been convicted of this crime. He has not. It's alleged. No. And he has been arrested, and that's all we're saying is that we're looking at the numbers of this and taking a different approach to who is the personality behind this, and this is what PK has found thus far. It's I always say this too. Everybody says that there weren't warning signs, but this time they're saying there were warning signs.
Oh yes, there were.
Some people Definitely that went to school with him are speaking out and saying, I could see him doing this. And other people are saying, well, I couldn't. But there are, for the first time in a long time, I'm hearing people in a horrible situation like this coming forward and saying, this is a fit. So in terms of the personality that they dealt with. So because there are always warning signs. There's always red flags. And when people say there aren't any, they're just blind. They're not looking at reality. And, of course, I don't know. I think back to that horrible shootout at the school that kind of kicked a lot of these things off, Columbine. Remember, these two young men were building bombs in their parents' garage, and their parents never knew it. And there was so much shock around this. Like, how could you not know what these teenage boys are doing in your garage and getting ready to do this mass murder at the schools? Like, how could you be so out of touch with your own children that you wouldn't know this? So, not to criticize anybody, because I haven't walked in their shoes. I don't know.
Exactly. Neither of us have. But
at the same time, neither of us have. But at the same time, you look at it and go, okay, how many warning signs were missed? How many red flags were waved and ignored? And it is important. It's like what they say, when you see something, say something.
Right. And when you look at his chart, but I'm just looking at he has very, very low self-esteem, and yet his sensitive side is so up there that if he feels the least slight, he has to aggressively go forward with it. He doesn't know how to communicate in a broad sense. It's like a wham, wham, wham. My answer is my way, highway. But he doesn't pay attention to the details of anything. Yet he's extremely intelligent with how he does, but he's very impatient, very selfish and impatient with shortcomings of others. Instead of looking at his side, he looks at what other people project from that. He demands a lot of freedom of action. That is part of the problem, because he's not brought in to the groups. He's kind of like an observer of life.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have the opportunity to be with anyone. Nowhere in anything that we've looked at does it say anything about anyone he's dated or been with. He's 28. There's no personal or sensitive background for him.
Right, that's
that he's
very
intelligent, tends to be very selfish, and his anger and aggressiveness is one of the things that they've talked about. Excessively domineering, and he can be very vindictive and even violent. And these are the things. Did something happen to trigger this violent action or reaction? Was he rejected by one of the beautiful young ladies that were there that he had to, quote, get even? These are things that, of course, will come out as time progresses. But
it'll come out at the trial.
But he tends to be very paranoid, and his imagination, it's like he's out of control. It's like he's two people. The very intelligent young man that does the things that he works with, and the other side of him where he doesn't feel a part of anything. He's always going to be the observer. He's not the participant in the relationships or with somebody. There's nothing said about anybody he's ever dated. Nothing.
Right. Nothing. You're right. And, in therapy, when we work with people who are overly sensitive, as you described it, and we often say these are people without skin. They don't have any skin. So when something happens, it's like it hits a nerve right away, and the reaction is over the top. So that's what we call the skinless person in therapy. And again, what creates that, what early life experiences create that, I can't say for certain with him, but that is certainly a part of his psychology, so that when he would be rejected, if he would want to try to get close to somebody, to a young woman who really was feeling uncomfortable with him, which apparently a lot of them did for good reason, then he would take it as, the ultimate offense. So, and meanwhile, they're just exercising their right not to be around someone they don't want to be around. That's all. I mean, I'm sorry, but I don't call that bullying. It's like people are saying, well, he was bullied by girls. It's like, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see that.
No, I don't either. And it's like, you don't see the numbers. No. I don't see it. It's like, look, if you don't want to be around somebody and you're uncomfortable with them, it's your right to say, I don't want to be around you. Whether you're male or female, you can say, I don't want to be around you. Now, as the person, as you described this person, is overly sensitive and is skinless, then they are going to overreact. And that's what they do.
Well,
they overreact. They go nuclear.
Right. But he's excessively domineering and very vindictive, if and even to the violent point, if he's rebuffed in some fashion. Tends to be paranoid and tries to escape the imagination because he gets out of control. And I think there was some kind of a rejection with one of the young ladies or something to do, because he didn't just come about them at that moment, because there was no way that he could have had. Them. Yeah. And so there's a rejection or a paranoia that it's just incredible that these young ladies had to go through this because of his angers and his aggressiveness.
Yeah, it's terrible.
His situation is very, very selfish and very domineering. And the strange part, he's raised with a couple of sisters. You know, was he the youngest where he was, put aside because of the girls? We don't know anything about the family, so there's thoughts that go on with that element. But he has such low self-esteem for himself, and yet he's so smart on the other side of things. It's like you don't know which side of the coin he's working with at which particular point in time.
Right, you don't. And
yeah.
But again, it's a lot of people did speak out and say they were uncomfortable around him, and that
right.
he was aggressive. Especially, there was a brewery there. Apparently, it was a very well-known brewery, and they had trouble with him. In fact, the owner approached him when he came in and had a talk with him, and said, "We're not going to have a problem with you again, are we?" And talked about what he had been doing with these girls. And he acted like he didn't know what this owner was talking about.
Right.
But he never went back.
Out anything he doesn't want. Well,
right.
He has a need for fame to validate himself. And yet he's very intelligent. He had all that with the different things that he was doing and how he was working with them. But when you take a look at the negative side of his personality, the trend is to make him, ruthless and intensely, because he feels so, I'll say the term, very lonely. So consequently, if he was rebuffed by anyone, that would just set things off even more. Tend to mask his deeper feelings. He didn't let anybody really see because of his arrogance. He would kind of march through with his head high, shoulders back, and walk out like he's been kicked in the stomach. Emotionally sensitive, but doesn't panic or scare easily. That's the scary part. He could be that. He's two people.
Right.
It depends on what day it is. Because he can explode, and outbursts of aggression are very much in his chart. So I wonder what he was like to live with where the parents were concerned. I see where his father went to take him and go back with him across country. And I kind of wondered, gee, that's kind of strange. He could have hopped a plane and been home in no time versus the cross-country drive that the father flew out and drives back with him.
Well, also, keep this in mind, and this is a question raised by quite a few people. That car everybody was looking for that car. I mean, that car was announced, we're looking for this car, whatever it was, white Hyundai or I don't know, whatever it was. They were looking for it.
But yeah.
And here's the father driving in it with his son. It's like,
yep.
Excuse me, this is the car that they're looking for. And they're like, well, there was something about they got the year wrong on the car, so maybe he dismissed it because it was not the correct year. But still, it would raise questions in my mind, especially since
definitely.
he was so close to the murder site. So, yeah, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of loose ends here that I'm sure I hope will be addressed. I mean, one of the stories that came out originally was about this poor little dog that was a pet in, I think, within a couple of miles, and it was skinned. And it's like, who does that? So, there's questions about that. There's questions about there were other murders that within a certain radius that seem to be similar, not exact, but something similar. We may never know about those, the perpetrators of those murders. But people were starting to talk about it and say, is there a connection? Is there a link here? And I think, honestly, that's why I think it's important to have so many eyes on something like this, so that questions are raised, because the police immediately dismissed the connection with the dog. I'm like, why would you dismiss that? That is so cruel and horrible
Mm-hmm.
Why would you just dismiss it? Wouldn't you want to know who did this to these people's pet, this harmless dog? I mean, something's very wrong here, and there's something very wrong with the person who did it. So, again, all these questions being raised, and for good reason. People would like answers.
Oh, definitely.
And did these things get dismissed too quickly?
Well, the question mark now is, did this just happen once? Is there a possibility of other situations, other times, other places? With his background and his ability to check into things, could be quite probable that there are other things that will show up. There was something about a young lady that is missing shortly thereafter in the same area. So there's going to be more things that are going to come out, because not only are the secrets being made, but there are being secrets that will be made known. And he's so sensitive,
right?
That I think his arrogance is going to make him make some mistakes. Because as long as he was doing things undercover, it was okay. It was kind of like a game to him. But now that he's in the forefront, I wonder if his arrogance isn't going to get in his way.
Well, I think you're right, because he did call into some crime podcasts and talk about this, and people were surprised the way he talked about it and the information he had. So this happens, I believe, several times, at least that I've heard about, where that arrogance that you described would allow him to call up and act like, well, hey, I know all about this, without saying, yeah, not because I did it, but I have this, information. So, yeah,
his background gave him.
Yeah,
his background gave him a lot of open doors into information that other people would have not even thought about. But he's so overly sensitive. I think if he's rejected, he is going to really have to show everybody how smart he is. And I think that's what's going to trap him.
Probably so. Now, did you have a chance to compare him? Because I know a lot of people are comparing him to Ted Bundy.
I didn't get the opportunity to really take a good look into it because of my computer decided to play games today. But there is a strong similarity in both their actions. They both needed to be idolized or whatever, but they both had issues. The issue with women, it's so sad. Something's going to come out when the family starts to be spoken with. There's got to be an issue that comes out, because I gather, is the baby, if you want to say that, and the two older
baby
sisters
of the family.
Such. Yeah, so I just have a gut feel that there's going to be a lot more than what we see right now, and I have a funny feeling he's been involved with more than one instance like this. And that I don't mean to say he's guilty off the bat, but let's put it this way: he stands a very good chance of being the bad boy in this situation.
Well, and here's the other thing. These other murders that are in this radius that they're looking at, that actually people are looking at, I wouldn't say the police are necessarily, but I know people are talking about this socially and wondering about it. They are unsolved murders. And so, again, it's, good that the attention is going to be placed back on these horrible murders, and maybe some of these other families can have a little bit more closure too. So that's the upside of this.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It truly is. I mean, this is something for a parent. Never's going to go away. It's always going to be painful.
Right.
Yeah, but to have pieces of information, puzzle pieces that you put it back into the puzzle, so you begin to have at least some understanding of these incredibly horrible events. It does help the family. And believe
definitely.
me, they deserve all the help that they can get in this horrible situation. And also other murder victims in the radius also deserve to have the same thing. But apparently these cases have gone cold, and nobody's doing anything with them. Maybe they will now.
I think I was going to say, I think once they start putting pieces together, sometimes it takes that one major break to open the door so other things start falling out. Because when we're looking at him, he's such an ultra-sensitive, very intelligent, but there's no emotion with him. And that's the part that's hard to understand because of how he plays things out. And yet, with his opportunities over the years and what he's been able to accomplish, doesn't make sense that he's going to let himself get caught in this particular quagmire that he's just been caught in. Because looking at his chart, he's in November for him is a 4 personal month, which deals with rejection, uptight, personal, wanting things done properly, and it would have been a 9-day ending old things that's the only karma in his chart is 4, dealing with the details of things. He tends to anger very quickly, and he has such low self-esteem. Yet he's basically extremely bright, extremely bright. If he turned himself around, he could make a fortune in this lifetime doing anything he wanted to do.
I remember you saying that.
But he could have. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he could have made a lot of money in some type of a career of his choosing. And again, it makes you wonder. With somebody like this, are they born this way? Are they made this way? And how much choice do they have in this? And like you said, when you looked at his chart and you saw the ability, he had a brilliant mind, he had the ability to make a lot of money, but he made these choices. If he made these choices, again, allegedly. Well, allegedly, yes. And of course, what we're looking at here, he is so ultra-sensitive and issues with females that he can't even get out what he feels because it would be a short burst and he couldn't communicate what he felt. So that's even more so the reason that he would act out because he can't say what he thinks.
And yes, that's so true. And then also being without skin, he would have an overreaction to everything and also blame the other. That also goes along with that pattern.
Oh, definitely.
So it's never them.
He didn't do
it's
it.
Always the other.
Somebody made him do it. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah,
if only they
definitely
had done this or that. If only they, and it's never them.
But nothing has been said about his past or any past relationship or anything else, which I find extremely strange under the circumstances. Usually that's the first thing they plug into and take a look at. And the only person family-wise that's been brought out is his father, and yet they've said really nothing about him except that he was riding with him.
Yeah.
That in itself, I think, is a little strange.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess he got stopped a couple of times during this ride.
Yeah, twice.
And one of the times he was stopped, it was because he was tailgating somebody. He was right up their bumper.
Yeah.
That
was the first stop. Yeah. So
that speaks to what you found about how aggressive and angry he was. I mean, who does that?
Mm-hmm.
On the highway. Somebody who's angry, somebody who has issues.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how he and his father really got along.
Yes.
Because his issues with the mother figure, and I'm sure with the sisters as well, as we see things progress, I think that's going to show whether he's guilty or not. He has issues with the mother figure and the females, period. That has a lot to be said for how he responds or acts to anything. In all this time, 28 years old, not a word said about ever dating anybody, going with anybody in high school, nothing. Nothing about his past.
It's like radio silence because maybe there's nothing to say. So, again, all of this I'm sure we'll hear more and more about. But that was very insightful reading that you did, PK, on the numbers of all of this. And I know there were other things too about this crime being committed on the 13th and other things like that, and so many different energies involved that all of a sudden this just erupted in this horrible way that it did.
He has no 4s in his chart. It's his only karma. Yet it was a 4 month that this took place in a 9-day ending all things he could not control. That's the only karmic he has. He does not have to deal with the details of things. And yet when they talk about what he did with the schooling and such, he was extremely detailed. yet he cannot be detailed within himself.
Right. Oh my goodness. Well, again, our hearts go out to the families who lost their beautiful
oh God, yes.
Children in this horrible event, and eventually,
it's
I guess
so sad.
we will. It's terrible. You can't undo it. I mean, this is something you can never undo. It's just awful. So again, our prayers go to the families that are still working
Most
through
definitely.
their grief with this horrible thing. But very insightful reading, PK. Thank you so much for taking the time to do that. And also giving us a heads up on this entire 7-year and what we need to be watching for. So, yes.
Pay
and I know
attention, don't assume. That's the most important thing this year. Do not assume something. Get as much information as you possibly can and be patient with what you do. And that includes our driving, folks, because anytime the 7's around, we just go into another world, and pedal to the metal sometimes gets us in trouble.
Right. So don't be reckless. Be safe.
That's for sure.
So everybody, we were going to be back next week again with another terrific show and all new guests. So make sure to join us. And until then, Happy New Year, everybody. And we'll see you on the Blue Highway.
Good
night.
Thanks for listening. Tune in next week for another radio adventure with Supernatural.